This deck can beat everything in the game, from the most powerful Mewtwo EX starts to the strongest Pikachu EX gamers. You will have game into everything when you play this deck. That's right, it's Marowak and Primeape. This is a fighting type deck, which puts it in a very interesting spot in the metagame. Fighting type is super effective against electric type in Pokemon TCG Pocket, which means that you have a very good inbuilt type-based matchup against Pikachu EX, but it's weak to Psychic, which in theory should make your Mewtwo EX matchup fairly dangerous. However, you are able to overcome your bad matchup just by virtue of Marowak EX existing. And that's what I mean when I say this deck can beat anything, because it can. But it can also have some poor RNG, and things could go very badly. The way I like to think of this deck is a consistently good matchup into Pikachu EX with a bad matchup that you can high roll out of in Mewtwo EX. And I think that's a really good way to have a bad matchup, if that makes any sense. There are a lot of decks in this game that have bad matchups that they absolutely cannot high roll out of. So having an out in your bad matchup, the ability to win your bad matchup just by getting lucky some of the time, is actually very, very important. I know that this is not going to appeal to some of the more purist skill card gamers amongst you. And to those people, I would encourage you to understand that this is actually a pretty high skill thing to do. Understanding that you have a bad matchup, but have outs in that bad matchup and why that is good, that's also a skill. And I think that people who get stuck on the idea that they need to be able to outplay to win their bad matchups, that might not be the best kind of person for a deck like this. The deck works as a sort of pin deck. Now you have your baseline Mankey Primeape line. Mankey, using the promo Mankey, gets to put damage on itself, then Primeape comes in and starts hitting for 100 whenever you have 2 energy. That's the baseline. That's what your consistent damage output is. Your inconsistent damage output is Marowak EX, which flips 2 coins and can hit for up to 160 or as little as 0, depending on the result of those coins. Let's talk about both of those lines and how you're meant to play them in different matchups. Promo Mankey is really the reason this deck exists. It's very clearly a check on Pikachu EX. However, it has some fairly clearly defined weaknesses as well. Specifically, Promo Mankey is vulnerable when on the play to evolve into 40 damage, which will make it unable to actually attack. With its own 50 starting HP, and the fact that it does 10 damage to itself when it does that, it's a very fragile Pokemon. This fragility is balanced out by power. Being able to do 50 damage to an electric type on turn 1 is really crazy. It lets you Giovanni kill things with 60 HP on turn 1 if you can pull that off. And unfortunately for Mankey, the fact that it puts damage on itself is actually also important, which means that it can't really ever be less fragile or more solid than this. It has to be fragile in order to get the damage onto itself. So Mankey represents a high-risk, high-reward strategy that is, when it happens, one of the strongest things you can possibly do in the game. Primeape is the reason that Mankey's fragility can be rewarded. When you evolve into Primeape, you start hitting for 100 as long as you have damage on the card. And this means that an 80 HP Primeape with that 10 damage from the Mankey can start wiping out everything your opponent plays. 100 damage is enough to deal with almost everything you're going to be seeing. It's even more additionally powerful when you start thinking about the impacts that something like a Pikachu EX can have on the game, and how 100 damage with type advantage will actually just straight up one-shot a Pikachu EX. This is power that is almost always only reached by EX evolutions that you can reach without risking 2 prizes. That is a very big upside for this card. Mankey Primeape is one of your strongest openers, being able to do a ton of damage, but it is also a risky opener because you are very vulnerable to quick damage that can deal with your Mankey. Among the cards that you have to be worried about Even something like a Ralts will be able to hit you for 40. If you attacked first with a Mankey, they can use a Giovanni on the Ralts and actually kill your Mankey right then. That's really scary. In addition, there are a fairly large number of stage 1 evolutions that can deal with Mankey as well. Something like an opposing basic Marowak, an opposing basic Rapidash, an opposing Weezing. Those are all things that you have trouble with, or at least can be threatened with when you are attempting the Mankey Primeape sweep. Your less risky line also has a lot of risk involved in it, but again, the reward is extremely high. Marowak EX is a coin flipper, and there are going to be people who are immediately turned off at the idea of having to coin flip, but I like to think of it as an upside. Yes, sometimes, because of Marowak EX's coin flips, you will lose games that you probably shouldn't be losing. But, on the other hand, because of Marowak EX's coin flips, you can win your worst possible matchup easily. And that matchup is Mewtwo EX. Mewtwo EX has 150 HP. In order to win that matchup, all you need to do is get 2 coins heads. I honestly think that this represents a much better chance at winning that matchup than basically every other line you have in the deck. Being able to stall out, all those other things, that's cool. But a lot of the time, you're just going to need to go power for power and say, look, I do this for a lot cheaper than you do. Mewtwo EX has a guaranteed 150 damage attack. That costs 4 energy. Marowak EX does not guarantee it's 160, but it only costs 2 energy. And that means that you can start doing it and getting your coin flips in, hopefully, before their Mewtwo EX is able to immediately dunk on you. That means that you have a real chance in what is otherwise a horrific, horrendous matchup. And having a card that gives you a shot at beating one of the best decks in the game is extremely, extremely important. I would like to be able to play this with more normal Marowak and less Marowak EX, but you simply cannot do that. You need the ability to win that matchup. You need the ability to get 2 coins heads, and even when this deck is not getting 2 coins heads, it is still a very dangerous threat. You have to accept that when you play a card game, there's going to be some amount of RNG that you won't be able to control. And I think Marowak EX is a great deck for teaching people about that. In addition, I'm not going to sit here and say this is a budget deck per se, but the promo Mankeys were free in the Lapras event. You get a Marowak EX guaranteed when you start the game if you open the right pack. This is kind of a budget deck. It's not the budgetest budget deck on Earth, but I think you can reasonably describe it as such. And that is an additional upside that this list has. I genuinely think this list can compete and even is favored into some of the best decks in the entire game. Even against decks that are not necessarily the things you expect, you have a lot of ability to bring massive power to bear very early in the game. Marowak EX can hit up to 160 for 2 energy. Primeape can hit up to 100 for 2 energy. You get to take a very aggressive posture against things, which makes you less vulnerable to, bluntly, like, dirtily crap. It's a lot harder to wall this deck than you think. Of course, sometimes you get walled just by your own bad coin flips, and you have to be willing to live with that if you want to live the dream of having Marowak EX dunk on your opposing Mewtwo EX. That is a dream worth living, in my opinion. As always, I've been KM Best. You have been phenomenal. We're going to get into some gameplay, and I really hope that you enjoy. Have a good one. Cam Pocket in the building. That's me. So we got Mankey, Hitmonlee, Marowak. This is a pretty awkward hand. Charmander. Yeah. Okay, I do like this because it could probably get me a Cubone. We'll take that. Now we can retreat that as best we want here. Charmeleon takes 3 to attack, right? So they never actually put anything on this Charmander. I'm fairly tempted to Mankey this up. The issue is if they are able to... Okay. Are they gonna X speed? Are they gonna X speed? They didn't X speed. Interesting. I'm gonna make a risky play then. We're gonna go for the risk here. They're gonna swap that out. Fire Dance. We're gonna evolve to Primeape. Ah, shit. They're gonna Giovanni me? Okay, they're just gonna swap that out. Alright, acceptable. Now we just top deck Primeape. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. Yes? Oh, interesting. I'm gonna put in the Hitmonlee. Start threatening the Charmeleon back there. It might make them make a different decision with who they equip this energy to. I want them to think about it. Okay, they're not making a different decision, which is interesting. They have to have a Charizard in hand, or that Charmeleon starts eating it. I mean, I guess they could also have a... Even with a Charizard in hand, it's like we're really getting some chip damage on here for free. And we can build up our Marowak EX while we do it. Second Moltres EX makes sense. You have a Zard. Potion will work, so it gives them one more turn to get to a Zard. Machamp cosplay when? Interesting. So they don't have a Zard right now. Which means they are, at best, 2 out of, like, 6 or 7 to get there. We got a shot. Holy shit. Solid split there, Jesus. Gonna go for the Char... They have 2 out of 7, right? Zard is 180. This thing has taken 60. So it'll be at 120. They didn't Giovanni me, which means Hitmonlee lives and does get to blow up that Zard, or that Charmeleon, I should say. And then we're gonna take him to the Bone Zone. From here, it's Bone Zone o'clock. Goodbye, Charmeleon. We love that for us. We love that for us. Then we can X-speed the Hitmonlee out and try to just straight up take him to the Bone Zone next turn. We're going to have a couple rolls at it. Someone's entering the Bone Zone, and I hope it's not me. I hope I am not he who enters the Bone Zone. Whoa, just an Inferno dance here? All right. It's boning time. It's boning time and zoning time. We're going to the Bone Zone. Now, would it have been better to do the Primeape? Honestly, maybe. But I didn't put the Bone Zone in my deck to not flip heads here. Boom! Bone Zone! Welcome to the Bone Zone. You gotta believe. You gotta believe! Oh, stop! Okay. All right. I think we gotta get to... Ooh, actually, I mean, I could try start punching that guy. Punching the bench isn't actually all that stupid here, is it? An X speed would be really interesting. Which one of these am I kicking? I don't know. Marowak at 100 is real scary. Okay. Mm-hmm. Unfortunate. God. I can't decide which direction to go here. But I think it's this one. I'm fairly certain the direction we go is... Evolve... X speed... Retreat. Bring out Whack. Activate Whack. Giovanni. Bone beat down for 70. This tempts them into using one potion, which we are then able to counter with Giovanni 2. I wasn't planning on playing Snap later, but it's possible. I think I'm meant to let them kill this Mankey. If that is what they desire. Excellent. In comes the Whack again. Damn. Yeah, I regret that a little. Bone Beatdown takes out Pika EX, and I am fairly sure that I win from here. They can't, confused. A little confused. If they don't have Raichu, they are dead to the kick. Or a potion. Cam Pokey YouTube, exclamation point, PKYT. They can X-speed that Magneton in. But if they do that, I can just, hit it, No, they're out of here. Hitmonlee with the kick to the back line, baby. I think red card's actually pretty good. Especially in decks that have room for it. Otherwise, people just get to draw stack on you. It's, there's several situations where it's like, your opponent is pretty clearly setting up a certain play. I also think it's very good. It's mathematically not good unless only if you think about it purely in terms of card advantage, rather than your opponent is setting up a certain play and you need to disrupt it. There are many spots in this game where you are 100% dead to a thing. And having any shot at getting out of those spots is really valuable. Like, I'm not saying it's an amazing card. It's, like, fine, But it's pretty good. Okay, so since I started with Mankey, I think I'm actually pretty advantaged here. I'm going to be able to start damaging stuff, hopefully. Now, there's possibilities of, like, X speed, they Mankey Giovanni me. Or X speed Farfetch'd me. That can happen. But I gotta get that damage on my guy. Shit. Come on, man. That's like the one actual punish to this that they have. Gross. They had to have exactly that. Well, now we're going to enter the bone zone. Now, the good news is all their stuff dies to one coin flip. Bad news is that Cubone is Hitmonlee fodder. The worst news is, are you shitting me? Dog. Our Marowaks are so ass. Dog. This is unreal. They just get a free 50 on us. This level of bad luck needs to be studied. We currently statistically have gotten two tails way more often than two heads. We've gotten two tails more often than one heads. Right, I didn't need that. I needed that averaged out, my man. Now it's just like straight up too late. They can add up to killing me. It's not even all that hard. Like, even if all the rest of mine are guaranteed 2. I just don't think I can put anything together here. The second... No, come on. It's not rigged. Shut up. Tails is 70%, not 50%. That's not true. You made that up. Wait, they didn't go for that. Interesting. Alright, so now we're actually not alive, but like... we are technically not immediately dead. Now we only need 1 Tails to kill this Primeape, right? Haha! We got our 1 heads! We did it. Okay. We're back in coin flipping range. It's time to be horrifically betrayed. It's time to be horrifically betrayed. Wait, they lost. Wait, no, Farfetch'd is weak to lightning, not... Okay, never mind. I still do swap this guy out, though, and go for... And then, unless they have a potion, it's literally just a calculation of prizes, right? We have that Farfetch'd dead in the front line or the back line. D&D shirt, yes. Like, they were treated out, but we have this Hitmonlee, and that should get us there, barring something horrific. Something horrific would have to happen. I'm not saying it couldn't happen. It would have to be like, it would have to be really bad. We got there. That's happened. I double checked it this time. I was pretty sure. But it has happened. Yo! Yo! That Pikachu's about to die. We're about to one-shot it. You know... I realize this might be a little bit reckless, if you will. But we are blowing that guy up. That is what is happening right now. And then we're going to try to draw for the primest of apes next turn. And if we can get that, it is so incredibly over. We have 3 draws out of 13. 2 Primeapes in there. Ballpark, I think it's about a 50-50. Bang. Bang. It's over. It's over. Bang. They got aped. A paid. All right, so going first, not great. Not the end of the world, but not great. Ooh. I guess this is grass because it's mostly ground. So we've got that going for us. Otherwise, things are not ideal. Maybe we can take them to the bone zone really quickly. I got 8 Clefairies and no Mankeys in the event. I have so many Mankeys. They said it was 12% to get Lapras. That is a damn lie. Like, maybe the biggest lie I've ever heard. Swap with a Drowsy. You know something. You know something. I don't think they can 40 me here. I don't think they can 40 me here. And this gives me a real shot at aping their face off here, despite the fact that we are very weak to all this stuff. They could evolve to Hypno, which means 25% chance we wouldn't get able to attack here. Crap. But if we can attack... Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That's what we wanted to see. We draw first. There's no way we're going to need a Giovanni this turn. Evo heal status. Oh, my God. We were just 100% to get this? Right, I forgot Evo heal status. It's in a law, and then being like, that means it's illegal. It's almost never true. I think I'd rather open on the Mankey here. Ew, dude! Peak overlay? My overlay's good! People crap all over these overlays, but I think my overlay is good. You snapping any points tonight? I don't think so. It's my day off from Snap. My overlay's good, goddammit. I'm saying it's peak. Oh, I just assumed... I read that sarcastically. To be completely honest with you. I just read it sarcastically. Reckless charge! It's legal not to list other buildings that you are spending money currency there. Yeah, and they're not spending money currency, so... Well, you can spend money, but you don't have to, which makes it not illegal. X speed? You didn't even want to teleport that out? Are you swapping in the Meowth? That, if I'm not mistaken, just dies here? It just dies to my Geo of Vani? You're just gonna do that? Even if I don't have the evolution? Whoa. I might want to X speed to get this other Mankey in. I do have the evolution, though, so who cares? Never mind. Actually, is it more clever to go X speed, reckless charge the other Mankey Giovanni in here? I think it is. I think that is more clever. Part of this is just like me trying to use all the parts of the buffalo here. But the other part is, I don't want them to know that I have this Primeape, and I want extra health on it when I do. So I go for the Geo here. We blow up this Meowth. And we get the extra, like, 10 health, right? So whatever they put in, they're going to be like, oh, that's safe. And it's not going to be safe because it's going to get 100'd by this Primeape, right? That's basically where my thought process is at right now. Whatever they're doing, it's not gonna be safe. I don't think it matters. It theoretically could, but you're right that it might not long term. Yeah, so they teleport in the Meowth. It dies horrifically to the primest of apes. And we're in roughly the same position, except they're less likely to play around a Geo now. We're gonna ape it up here. We're gonna play around red card. But I think mostly they just get Primeape swept from here. I think mostly they just get Primeape swept. Yep. They get Primeape swept. Are you from Marvel Snap? Yeah.